In a world where everyone is born with magical stars shining in their bodies, Fisha came into the world without any. As soon as her parents found out, her fate changed forever. Expelled from home, rejected by friends, and chased with stones, she fled to save her own life. That's when she met a slime that would transform her story, and she named him Sora. The journey begins with a man carving a piece of wood, focused, when a baby's cry echoes. Excited, he runs inside the house. The maid greets him with the news. It's a healthy girl. The wife, exhausted but smiling, asks, "What shall we name her?" He looks at the baby's face, who lets out a giggle and replies, "Fisha." The name makes the little one laugh even more. Years later, Fisha has already grown a little. While her father works on building the family's new house, she brings him a snack. They sit together with her older brother to eat. During lunch, Fisha chokes on a piece of bread. The father, quick, conjures water with his magic to help her. The brother, laughing, teases, "Easy there, bread devourer, eat slower." Fisha, still with her mouth full, retorts, "I'm growing, I need to eat a lot." Back at home, the mother greets them with a warm smile, helping set the table for dinner. The brother doesn't miss the chance to poke at Fisha. "It's about time you learned a basic spell, huh?" The mother, always protective, intervenes. "She'll learn in her own time." And so, the family gathers for a meal filled with laughter and affection. While playing with her toys, Fisha comments excitedly, "My birthday is coming!" The father winks at her. "Yes, and you'll get a special gift, your magical ability." The mother, smiling, asks, "Are you excited for your 5th birthday, Fisha?" In the middle of the lively conversation, someone knocks on the door. It's Lady Luba, the village seer, bringing blessings for Fisha's birthday. The mother invites her in. Luba, with a wise look, remembers visiting Fisha when she was 2 years old. She whispers to the girl, "I know you carry memories of a past life. Don't tell anyone. This could bring trouble." Fisha, serious, promises to keep the secret. After a prayer of good wishes, Luba takes her leave but casts a worried look before departing. The big day arrives, Fisha's 5th birthday. In the church next to her parents, she hears the priest announce, "Today, you will receive your magical ability." He calls her to touch the holy water. Fisha obeys, and the priest murmurs mystical words, forming a water bubble that reveals a divine message. "This girl has the ability of Tamer," he declares, "capable of conquering monsters." The parents cheer with pride, but the atmosphere shifts when the priest looks for the magical stars. His eyes widen in horror. Fisha has none. "An abomination," he mutters, disgusted. The father protests, "There must be a mistake." But the priest is categorical. A divine message never fails. At home, the father's anger explodes. Drinking, he yells that everyone in the family had stars, except Fisha. The mother tries to calm him, but he, out of control, breaks Fisha's favorite toy, the one he had made for her himself. In a moment of fury, he questions his wife. "Is this girl really my daughter?" The words cut like a knife, and the mother cries. Fisha tries to console her mother, but the brother grabs her violently, dragging her away. She cries out for her older sister, but only receives a look of contempt. The brother shoves her out of the house, spitting, "Get lost!" The pain doesn't end there. The entire village finds out that Fisha is starless and condemns her. Children throw stones, making her bleed as she runs desperately. Surrounded by hateful stares, she flees, thinking, "What did I do wrong?" Looking back, she sees the village in the distance and murmurs, heartbroken, "I can't go back home anymore." Tears stream down as she walks for hours through the forest under pouring rain. Exhausted, she finds a cave and takes shelter. She tries to light a fire with fire magic, but fails. Her vision blurs, and she faints. When she wakes up, Fisha sees a familiar figure, Lady Luba, the seer. "My vision showed me this would happen," says the old woman, offering hot soup. Fisha drinks, feeling a bit of comfort. Luba hands her a magic bag and a book, saying, "This will always help you." The seer begins caring for Fisha like a mother, teaching her to read, write, and survive in the world. But one day, Luba leaves and doesn't return. Worried, Fisha goes back to the village and discovers the truth. The seer had died. Worse, her own father spreads the rumor that Fisha, being starless, was cursed and caused Luba's death. The village chief incites everyone to hunt her down, calling her guilty. With her heart shattered, Fisha flees again, imagining her mother saying, "It would have been better if you had never been born." To protect herself, she sets up alarms with pots and pans in a safe corner of the forest. She takes out the hidden magic bag, and stores kitchen utensils, potions, and other essential items. Determined, she says to herself, "I'm the rejected one, the discarded one, but I will survive." The next day, Fisha finds a junkyard and starts looking for useful things. While rummaging through the magic bag, she pulls out weapons, but luckily doesn't hurt herself. She smiles upon finding clothes, a healing potion, and a map. While organizing everything, she hears men approaching, ordering slimes to clean the trash. Terrified, she discovers there's a bounty on her capture, dead or alive. "The village chief wants to kill me," she thinks, running to hide. At night, exhausted, she shelters under a tree, the weight of an uncertain future on her shoulders. The next day, while crossing a muddy swamp, a gust of wind almost knocks Fisha down, but she regains her balance just in time. Suddenly, she feels something slimy on her leg. Slimes. More of them appear, attacking non-stop. Desperate, she runs, but the slimes chase her. In a misstep, her foot slips, and she tumbles downhill, crashing against a tree branch that snaps from the impact. Injured, Fisha falls but quickly takes a healing potion from the magic bag and treats her wounds. As she gets up, she comes across a crystal-clear lake, its waters calling to her exhausted body. She removes her clothes and dives in. The fresh water revitalizes her, bringing relief. Sitting by the lake, Fisha makes a decision. She will live fully, despite everything. Determined, she cuts her hair short, adopting a masculine look for protection, since traveling alone as a girl is risky. From the bag, she takes men's clothes and puts them on. Looking at her reflection in the lake, she decides to abandon the name Fisha. "From today on, I am Ivy," she murmurs, inspired by the plant that grows strong even when trampled. The next day, while walking, a noise from a green field makes her stop. Curious, Ivy approaches and finds a small, adorable slime hiding among the grass. She opens the book Lady Luba gave her, searching for information. The book reveals that it is a nameless slime, the weakest of its kind. "You're the weakest one, just like me," Ivy says, smiling. While thinking of a name, a gust of wind knocks the slime off the leaves and it falls, fragile, unable to get up by itself. The book warns that this type of slime is so delicate that even a touch could make it disappear, and that its life lasts less than a day. Worried, Ivy carefully turns it over and keeps reading. Another gust of wind sends it flying toward a river. Ivy runs and saves it just in time. Looking at the slime, so small and defenseless, she promises, "Even if you live only one day, we'll be together until then." That night, Ivy decides to stay by the slime's side, talking to it. She tells her story, from her family's rejection to the memories of a past life she keeps secret. She talks until she falls asleep. Upon waking, she realizes she dozed off and looks for the slime, thinking it vanished. Tears fill her eyes, loneliness weighing once again. But when she opens the map, the slime jumps out of it. Relieved, Ivy laughs, happy that it survived, contrary to the book. Excited, she reads more about how to tame the slime. When she touches its head, it glows, confirming she's doing it right. The book says the slime needs a name. Since it's blue, Ivy names it Sora, like the sky. A blue crystal appears on the slime's head, sealing the bond. Ivy hugs it carefully, lifting it high. "You are my first friend." The next day, Ivy sets a trap and captures a mountain rat. Skillfully, she wraps the meat in a banana leaf and stores it in the bag. "Tonight, Sora, we're having a feast," she says, smiling. She checks the map, but the royal capital isn't marked. Determined, she decides to go to a nearby village in search of a better map. Suddenly, a breeze sends Sora flying, but Ivy catches it in time. A strange noise alerts her. She hides Sora in the bag and runs, climbing onto a tree branch. Down below, a horde of poisonous ants passes. Relieved, Ivy takes Sora out of the bag and notices it's a little bigger and heavier. "Wow, that was scary! And look, I think I cut myself on the branch," she says, placing Sora on the ground. Looking for a blue potion, she realizes the ones she has are expired. She uses them all, but they're not enough. "Sora, I must have lost some along the way," she sighs. Continuing the journey, Ivy spots a wanted poster with her face and a large bounty. Furious, she rips the poster. "I'm not Fisha anymore!" But soon she sees others and tears them down one by one. Upon arriving at the village, she notices that everyone uses magic even for simple tasks. Walking, she passes by a butcher. She thinks about selling the mountain rat, but fears being recognized. The owner notices her and asks, Hey, are you okay? Hesitant, Ivy replies, I want to sell meat. He inspects the rat and says, It's fresh. My 2-star sense of smell doesn't lie. Ivy hands over the meat, and he gives her 100 D coins, joking, Here, 100 million D. Ivy looks confused, but accepts. Hungry, she goes to a bakery. A woman greets her. What do you want, boy? Ivy chooses bread, and the woman says, It's 20 D. Ivy hands over the money, joking, Here, 20 million D. The woman laughs. You're funny, huh? With the bread, Ivy sits under a tree with Sora, shares the food, but notices that Sora doesn't want to eat. The next day, they return to the forest to hunt mountain rats. Ivy spots another junkyard and finds healing potions, some expired. While separating the useful ones, Sora watches and suddenly absorbs the blue potions. Ivy tries to offer trash for Sora to discard, but the slime refuses. Then, she picks up a blue potion, which Sora eagerly absorbs. When trying a red potion, Sora makes a grimace and rejects it. Later, Ivy goes to the village to sell mountain rats. She buys bread at the bakery and then relaxes by swimming in a river. While eating bread, she offers another blue potion to Sora, who devours it. The next day, while strolling through the village, Ivy sees adventurers and feels a chill down her spine. They are the ones looking for her. Luckily, they don't recognize her and only demand that she hand over her magic bag. Ivy bolts, hearing laughter behind her. We scared the little boy. The butcher intercepts her, asking, Did you catch those field rats yet? Not yet, Ivy replies, but her eyes fall on another wanted poster. She runs away, shouting, I'll be back later. At the bakery, the owner greets her with a smile. I baked your favorite bread today, take some. But Ivy sees another poster with her face and runs out. Alone, sitting on a tree branch, she cries. She takes Sora out of the bag and vents. Is there a place for me in this world? She hugs the slime as night falls. The next day, walking through the forest, Ivy decides it's time to leave the village, since her posters are everywhere. Stopping in front of 2 paths, she consults the map, not knowing which to choose. Suddenly, Sora begins to tremble. You're hungry, huh? Me too, Ivy says. They head to a river, where Ivy fills her canteen. Nearby, she sees a tree loaded with fruit. Sora, how about trying something new? But Sora seems scared. Ivy quickly understands the reason. The tree is a man-eating monster. Terrified, she grabs Sora and runs. In a safe place, she notices her hand is badly injured. Dizzy, she realizes she has no more potions. Looking at Sora, she thinks, Slimes are monsters. Would you eat my blood? Exhausted, Ivy faints. When she wakes up, it is already night. She discovers that Sora didn't attack her, but licked her wounds, helping to heal them. Looking at the sky, Ivy murmurs, Even if you ate me, it wouldn't make a difference. I'm an unwanted child. The next morning, Sora wakes her up by jumping around her. Ivy checks her hand and sees it healed. Sora, you saved me, she exclaims. Suddenly, Sora makes a sound. Poo poo! Ivy laughs, surprised. You spoke for the first time. Lifting the slime, she says with tears in her eyes, Sora, is poo poo all you can say? You are all I have. The next morning, Sora wakes Ivy with poo 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 poo, like an alarm clock. Okay, I'm up already, Ivy laughs. Before continuing their journey, they sit down to eat. Ivy bites into a fruit, while Sora devours potions. Suddenly, Sora starts bouncing and moving more, surprising Ivy. You're stronger, huh, Sora? When Ivy eats, Sora makes noises, asking for more. They go to the junkyard, where Ivy finds clothes in a box and some potions. She gives Sora a blue potion, which it gulps down quickly. Other potions are rejected, but when mixed, Sora accepts them eagerly. Continuing the journey, Ivy sees wild berries and runs to pick them. She tries to offer them to Sora, but the slime makes a face. Ivy gathers the berries and later they sit down to eat. Sora finishes its portion quickly, and Ivy, worried about the slime's voracious appetite, shares more. You eat too much, Sora, she says, laughing. To calm her down, Ivy picks her up in her arms. Want to hear a bedtime story and stop asking for food? Sitting in a tree, she says, When I was little, I heard about a great war. The king gathered mages to foresee the end of the conflict. They saw the world ending, so they used a powerful magic to protect it. No one knows what magic that was, but they said a child from another world would come and use it. Exhausted, Ivy falls asleep with Sora. In the morning, Sora wakes her again with poo-poo. Checking the bag, Ivy shouts, Sora, you ate all the potions. Later, while hunting mountain rats, Ivy finds a snake in the trap. Maybe I can sell this too, she thinks, but she is afraid to get close. With a cloth from the bag, she captures the snake and ties it up. On the way to sell it, she smells something strange, and Sora becomes agitated. Following the scent, Ivy finds a dead horse, and beside it, several dead men. Horrified, she flees, taking the snake with her. Running to a safe place, she spots a small town. I need to tell someone about this, she decides. Entering the guild, the people at the reception ask, "What's in the bag?" Ivy explains it's a snake to sell, and a man says, "Take it to the market, this isn't the place." Then, she mentions the bodies she found. The receptionist calls her to give details, and a man asks for the location, ordering others to head there. The guild man tells Ivy, "If your information is correct, you will get a reward." The receptionist hands her a document and asks her to return later to claim it. Ivy goes to a shop to sell the snake. The vendor examines the animal and says, "It's a rare snake." He offers 3 glites, and Ivy calculates that this equals 30 mountain rats. He hands over the money, saying, "If you catch more, bring them here." Ivy leaves, excited, and tells Sora, "Let's buy food." At the junkyard, Ivy gets excited upon finding several magic bags. Sora, meanwhile, finds blue potions and devours them. Ivy tries to organize the bags, placing one inside the other. She discovers that the blue bag can hold others, but the brown one cannot. After testing, she realizes that some bags can carry up to 3 others, while certain ones can't hold any. Happy for figuring out the trick, Ivy wears the bags and heads to the city with Sora, keeping a low profile. But a guild knight recognizes her. "Your information was correct. Monsters killed those adventurers, and now the high-rank ones went to hunt them. Go get your reward." Ivy nods, relieved. At the guild, the receptionist asks for the document. Ivy begins taking out the bags, impressing her, and hands over the paper. As a reward, she receives a silver plaque, worth about 5 glites, the equivalent of 50 mountain rats. The receptionist also gives her 2 gold coins. Ivy, euphoric with so much money, stores everything. As she leaves, she hears laughter. People are amused by her stacked bags. At night, while everyone enjoys themselves, Ivy eats her meal and gives Sora a potion. Looking at the map, she plans the next stage of the journey and lies down, smiling. "Sora, traveling with you is such an adventure." The next day, Ivy gets upset seeing her trap broken. "This way, I won't make money," she grumbles, checking the bag to count the coins. Sora jumps towards some bushes, and Ivy runs after it. There, they find a wounded magic monster. Ivy consults the book and discovers it is dying. Gently touching it, she says, "You must be scared. I've been too." Sora, feeling pity, jumps on the monster, covering its wounds and healing them. Ivy is left speechless. When Sora finishes and returns to her hand, Ivy asks, "Are you done?" The monster approaches, and Ivy fears an attack, but it only brushes against her, as if to thank her. "You're so cute," Ivy says, laughing, while Sora lets out a poo-poo. Continuing through the forest, Ivy thinks, "Now I have another friend." After reflecting, she names the monster, "Your name will be Seal, which means sky in another language. I'm Ivy, and this is Sora." Further ahead, Ivy senses people nearby and asks Sora to go into the bag, while Seal hides in the bushes, since danger lurks. Arriving at the gate of a new city, Ivy faces the guard, who looks intimidating. A man passes by her saying, "Boy, no causing trouble!" Sora gets scared of him. The guard stops the man, asking, "What's your reason for entering Lamb?" He replies that he's visiting a friend but doesn't know the name. Suspicious, the guard rips his bag, revealing a hidden bottle of liquor. "So you came to sell illegal alcohol," he accuses, holding him. Another guard intervenes. "He's a criminal but no violence," and takes him to prison. Ivy, who saw it all, comments to Sora, "You already sensed he was trouble, right?" Now it's Ivy's turn to pass through the gate. Nervous, she steps forward, and the guard stops her, looking at her suspiciously. A fly lands on his shoulder, and Ivy points. "There's a fly there." He swats the insect away and thanks her, relaxing. "Which family are you from, boy?" he asks. "I'm from Lomi," Ivy replies. The guard sighs. "I heard things are tough in Lomi. Here in Lamb, everything will be fine." And he lets her in. Amazed by the size of the city, Ivy runs to the butcher and asks the owner if she would buy mountain rats. "Of course, but be careful with the monsters in the forest," the woman replies. Ivy asks for a piece of meat and leaves, thinking about where to stay. She sees a square where adventurers gather, but hesitates upon noticing another intimidating guard. Even so, she approaches. The guard asks who Ivy is and gives her a wooden pass to enter the adventurers area. Upon arriving, she unrolls her mat and lies down, looking around. Seeing everyone with tents, she whispers to Sora, "If we had a tent, I could let you out." Determined, she goes to the market to buy one. While choosing, the gate guard appears, startling her. Tears almost fall, but another guard intervenes. "Stop scaring the kids!" The guard introduces himself. "I'm Ogo." Ivy, shy, replies, "I'm Ivy." Ogo smiles. "Relax, I'll help you pick a tent." Still hesitant, Ivy follows him to an old man's shop. Ogo says to the vendor, "Find something good and cheap for the kid." While the man looks, Ivy asks, "How much does a tent cost? Will my silver plate and 5 glites do?" The vendor is surprised. "5 glites?" Ogo asks, "Where'd you get that money?" Ivy explains, "I earned it by warning people about a monster attack." The vendor hands her a tent. "This one's top quality for 5 glites." Ivy pays, beaming, and writes Sora on the tent, as the man suggested. As a bonus, he gives her a magic bag. Ivy thanks the guards, who say, "See you around, Ivy." Back at the plaza, Ivy sets up the tent. When she's done, she cheers, "It's ready!" Inside, she closes the curtains, takes Sora out of the bag, and exclaims, "This is our new home." Sora jumps excitedly, and Ivy laughs. "Let's celebrate, Sora. Let's go to the junkyard and grab some potions." As she leaves, adventurers surround her, shouting, "Thief!" A man points, "That tent is mine!" Ivy denies it, but he grabs her while a woman mocks her. They open her bag and are shocked by Sora. Ivy tries to run, but a brute lifts her off the ground. Almost in tears, she's saved by a guard. "Let the boy go or you'll regret it." The man ignores him, but the guard frees Ivy. "The tent's hers. Ogo helped her buy it." The adventurer protests. "Impossible for this kid to afford that." The guard asks sternly, "Was your tent really stolen or are you lying?" The man stammers, "It was a mistake." As they try to flee, other guards arrest them. The guard asks Ivy, "You okay?" She thanks him, and he hands her a new healing potion. "Sorry for the trouble." Ivy smiles, and he leaves. At night, Ivy tells Sora, "Drink plenty of potion, fill that little belly." As she eats, she notices Sora wants the new potion. "That one's for healing, you glutton," Ivy jokes. The next morning, she wakes up. "Sora, let's go hunting." Before leaving, she notifies the guard. On the way, guards greet her, offering help and gifts. Confused, Ivy thinks, "How do they all know me?" In the forest, she finds her trap broken. "This won't do, Sora. We won't catch anything." Suddenly, Seal appears with rabbits. "You brought these for me?" Ivy asks. Seal nods and she hugs him. "Thanks, buddy." While she prepares the meat, Seal plays with Sora. When she finishes, both are asleep. Ivy wakes Sora. "Let's go to the city." Seal waves goodbye, disappearing into the bushes. Back in the village, Sora clumsily hurts herself on a branch. At the butcher's, the owner praises her. "Such fresh meat. Looks like you hunted without traps." Ivy smiles, collects the payment, and hears, "With this quality, you can bring more anytime." As she walks, guards stop to chat. Ivy hides, suspicious. Ogo appears. "What's wrong?" Ivy explains, and he laughs. "It was Otto. He asked the guards to look after you." Ivy blushes. Ogo waves and leaves. Passing a fruit stand, Ivy sees the Lomi Zero fruit, incredibly expensive. The vendor explains, "The harvest was bad this year." He asks, "Are you from Lomi?" Ivy confirms, "Yes, but I ran away from there." He tells her that Madame Luba, the seer, used to predict the zero fruit harvest, the village's main income, but she fell ill. The chief denied her medicine, she died, and he blamed a child named Fisha, saying she was cursed. Ivy is shaken. The vendor continues, "Lomi's been in crisis ever since. You ran away because of that, didn't you, kid?" Ivy nods and he gives her a zero fruit. "Here, take it. You must have been through a lot." Back at her tent, Ivy thinks of her family, wondering if they're okay. Sora, sensing her sadness, nestles against her. Ivy sighs, holding the zero fruit. "I was rejected by my own people, and now I'm in a strange place. But everyone here is so kind." She picks up the fruit and smiles. "It feels like home." Sora jumps, trying to say something, but Ivy laughs. "I don't understand your poo-poo." As she eats, she remembers Madame Luba's words. If you travel to the capital or nearby towns, you'll find good people you can trust. The next day, upon waking, Ivy greets everyone cheerfully before heading out to hunt. In the forest, she sets a trap and tells Sora, "Let's go to the junkyard to grab potions for you." On the way, she senses people nearby and tells Sora to jump into the bag. Suddenly, the same adventurers who accused her before appear, furious. "Time for revenge! First, hand over that rare slime!" Ivy snaps back, "I can't, Sora is my friend." The man threatens, "Hand it over or I'll beat you up." Terrified, Ivy runs. The man chases her, but she cuts the trap's rope, catching him. The woman yells, "Useless idiot, I'll get her myself!" The man frees himself, furious. "That brat won't get away!" The woman reaches Ivy, saying, "You can't run now!" The man grabs her, demanding Sora, but both freeze as a monster appears. Seal bursts in, roaring at the woman, who faints instantly. The man tries to flee, but Seal catches him, lets out another roar, and throws him onto the unconscious woman. Relieved, Ivy asks, "You okay, Sora?" The slime replies, "Poo-poo." Ivy looks at the two unconscious bodies and repeats, "You're really okay, Sora?" Another poo-poo makes her laugh. Hearing footsteps, Ivy tells Seal to hide. It's Ogo and Vra who ask if she's okay. Ivy explains everything, and they take her back to town. Sitting with Ogo, she learns the adventurers were thieves and got arrested. "You'll get 5,000 glites for helping capture them," says Ogo. Stunned, Ivy calculates how many mountain rats that would be worth. He gives her the reward but warns, "Carrying that much money is dangerous. Open an account at the trade guild." At the guild with Ogo, the receptionist explains the process. Ivy pricks her finger. A drop of blood creates the account, and the receptionist notes, "You'll be turning 9 soon, right?" Ivy nods. In a room, she places the coins on a tray. A man congratulates her, handing her a plaque. As they leave, Ivy looks at it and Ogo says, "Let's go!" Vra appears, scolding Ogo for leaving without warning. As they walk, Ogo promises, "Ivy, I'm buying you lunch." Ivy, surprised by such kindness, tells Vra, "I'm just hungry." Ogo takes her to a tavern, calling to a woman who jokes, "Is this your secret daughter?" Ogo laughs. "Yeah, cute, right?" They sit, and Ivy drools over other people's food. Ogo orders the same dish, saying, "I got a bunch, eat up." Ivy protests, "I can't eat all that." Vra teases, "Think about her size before ordering, Ogo." But Ogo insists, and Ivy starts eating, exclaiming, "It's delicious." The woman smiles, "That's my 4-star cooking skill." Vra asks, "And you, Ivy, what's your skill?" "Tamer," she replies, hesitating when they ask about her stars. Sad, she goes silent. Ogo comforts her. "There are folks with 1,000 stars who still suck." Vra adds, "And some with just 1 who do amazing things. Don't get discouraged." Thinking she has 1 star, they cheer her up. As they part ways, Ivy thinks, "I don't have any stars." The next morning, Ivy tells Ogo and Vra, "I'm heading out to the royal capital." Ogo replies, "Just mention my name there. It'll help you." Ivy waves, and Ogo says, "Come back someday. We'll be waiting." Vra whispers to Ogo, "I looked into Ivy. She's a girl hiding her identity." Ogo asks why, and Vra answers, "Maybe one day she'll tell us." In the forest, Sora runs ahead, and Ivy shouts, "Slow down!" Stopping to drink water, she notes, "You're full of energy, Sora." She realizes Sora has changed since healing Seal's wounds, as if she evolved. Suddenly, Sora gets distracted and runs off. Ivy follows her to a huge clearing, suspecting a monster made it. Nervous, she hears a sound in the bushes. Scared, she braces herself, but Sora says, "Poo-poo," and smiles. It's Seal. Ivy jumps to hug him, and Sora bounces in excitement to see him again. At night by the campfire, Ivy savors the meat and exclaims, "Wow, this tastes amazing." She thanks Seal. "We caught so many rabbits thanks to you." Looking at Sora, she teases, "You sure eat a lot, huh?" Sora devours all the potions, and Ivy laughs. The next morning, when checking the traps, she finds them all empty. "Just my luck," she grumbles. "We still have leftover meat. This'll be our breakfast." Suddenly, she feels something strange approaching. Grabbing Sora, she runs, saying, "What's that presence? It's making me nauseous." Whatever it is, it's chasing her. Ivy reaches a cliff with no way out. Looking back, she thinks, "It feels human, not like a monster." Then, Seal appears, letting out a powerful roar, and the mysterious figure vanishes. Ivy wonders, what was that? Continuing through the Rocky Mountains, Ivy rides on Seal, smiling. "It's comfy, right, Sora? Thanks, Seal." The memory of that strange presence still unsettles her, but Seal suddenly stops, looking aggressive. "What's wrong?" Ivy asks. An ogre appears, charging toward them. Seal uses his tail to move Ivy and Sora behind him. When the ogre approaches, Seal leaps and bites him, rolling with him into a river. Ivy screams in panic, "Seal!" More ogres appear, and she runs, with them on her tail. She reaches a creepy area filled with hanging scarecrows. The sound of ogres closing in makes her run faster. Desperate, she steps into a trap, and a log hoists her up, leaving her hanging. An ogre jumps to attack her, but a light flashes and a massive fireball destroys it. A young man appears, controlling flames. "That's my firestorm attack!" He introduces himself as Lars. Seeing Ivy caught in the trap and surrounded by fire, he runs up, confused. "Why's there a kid here?" An archer, Tina, shoots an arrow, breaking the trap. Ivy falls, but Lars catches her just in time, saying, "That was close!" Another ogre attacks, but Lars carries her away, only for them to be saved by giant slimes. A graceful woman, Meg, appears. "Thanks for the help, Mila." She calls her slimes back, explaining that the others are still fighting the ogres. The group charges forward, swords in hand, and defeats the monsters. Lars confirms, "We're all good." An ogre appears from behind, but Shield, the archer, brings it down with his arrows. The group introduces themselves as the Suppression Squad, sent to eliminate monsters. They ask Ivy, "You hurt, kid?" She answers, "No, I'm fine." The leader, Elk, introduces himself and the others. Ivy says her name and thanks them for saving her. Shield asks, "What are you doing here?" Ivy replies, "I'm heading to Ottawa." Elk smiles, "Come with us." Upon reaching the camp, Ivy is amazed by its size. Elk shows her the group's tent, the flaming sword, and Meg says goodbye. "See you later." Elk explains they're heading to a meeting about the monster hunt. Ivy waves, standing next to Lars. Lars grumbles, "It's my turn to cook, but I suck at it." Ivy asks, "How do you usually cook?" He laughs, "With my 3-star flame attack skill. I roast, grill, and sprinkle salt and pepper." Ivy laughs, "Let's cook together?" She grabs rabbit meat, rubs it with salt, cuts vegetables, and fries the meat before simmering everything together in a pot. As she explains each step, Lars says, "That's amazing." When dinner's ready, Ivy says shyly, "I hope you like it." Everyone stares at the food and Elk says, "Let's dig in." After the first bite, the silence makes her nervous, but then they all exclaim, "This is incredible." They praise her while eating. Meg arrives. "Something smells great." Lars jokes, "Perfect timing." Meg tastes it and says, "Delicious." Ivy smiles, feeling like part of the group. "I'm so glad you liked it," Shield asks Lars. "You let her cook all by herself?" Lars laughs. "No, we cook together. I control fire like no one else." He shoots flames into the sky, bursting like fireworks. Ivy gets an idea. Mila asks, "What is it?" Ivy replies, "If we use different metals, the flames could look even prettier." Mila grabs some metals, and Ivy excitedly wraps them in cloth and hands them to Lars. He launches his flames with the metals, creating a colorful fireworks show. Everyone watches, mesmerized, even Seal, perched on a rock in the distance. Later, Lars brings the dishes to wash, but Ivy says, "Leave them there." Elk, the leader, steps in. "Relax, Ivy, we'll clean up." She insists, "I want to help." Elk gives in. "All right, we'll do it together." Lars hugs her, laughing. "You're adorable." Before bed, Ivy gives Sora potions, which she gulps down. Brushing her hair, Ivy whispers, "These people are good, Sora." Meanwhile, the group talks about her. They notice she travels alone and seems fragile. Elk says, "It feels like Ivy's afraid of being rejected if she's not useful." Lars listens quietly. The next morning, Ivy finds a box of old potions in the junkyard and takes some for Sora. Mila appears. "Hey, my slimes are going to clean up the trash." Ivy asks, "Do you know anything about disintegrator slimes?" Mila explains, "They're rare. If you catch one alive, it's worth a fortune." Suddenly, Ivy feels that strange presence again. Mila asks, "What's wrong?" Before Ivy can answer, others arrive carrying boxes of trash. Lars says, "Cleanup's done, let's keep traveling." Ivy gets excited about going to Ottawa. Before leaving, they enjoy their last day together with beer. Ivy grills meat and serves a hearty stew. Elk comments, "This stew warms the soul." Lars chokes, "It's way too hot." Ivy worries about Seal, who's resting in the mountains. Mila returns and introduces her brother, who looks exactly like her. Ivy, surprised, says, "Wow, you two look identical." She introduces herself, and Lars mentions that the group is called Green Gale. Mila reveals that she and her brothers are twins. They walk up to Ivy. "You look like a smart girl." Ivy smiles. Another group approaches, and Ogo says, "Time to go." Ivy waves as Mila says goodbye. Lars mutters, "That's the Lightning group. They don't get along with the twins." Beryl, the leader, says to Elk, "So you're the one watching over this kid?" Elk confirms. That night in her tent, Ivy gives Sora a potion. Feeling that strange presence again, she tells Sora to hide in the bag and hugs her tightly. She closes her eyes and the feeling fades. Someone calls her name. It's Lars asking for help with breakfast. Inside the tent, Ivy asks Sora, "Was it Lars who caused that?" Sora signals no. Ivy remembers Sora acting the same way near the man selling illegal liquor. "A tamer like Mila would understand you," she says as Sora trembles in fear. The next day, they arrive in Ottawa. The guard asks for Ivy's information. To confirm her identity, she shows her account stone, which glows. After filling out the form, she receives a pass. Amazed by the big city, Ivy follows Lars, who says, "Let's find a place to sleep." In the Adventurers District, while setting up tents, night falls. During dinner, Elk warns, "The city's dangerous. Kids are being kidnapped." Beryl agrees, frustrated that they haven't found the culprits. He looks at Ivy. "You're a kid too. We have to protect you." Ivy says, "I was almost attacked. Something chased me, but a monster scared it off." Under a magic veil to prevent eavesdropping, she describes the nauseating presence and mentions feeling it outside her tent. Shield asks, "Who do you think it is?" Ivy hesitates, afraid to reveal that Sora warned her, and says, "I think it's Mila." Elk asks, "Are you sure?" Ivy backs off. "Forget it, please." Alone with Sora, she whispers, "I can't talk about you." She remembers Madame Luba's advice about trusting allies at the right time. The next morning, under the veil, Lars says, "You were right. Mila's got a dark side. She and her brothers were secretly talking to a merchant." Elk explains that when the merchant left, they claimed they were just giving directions, but they used a sound-blocking veil. The group speculates about Mila and her brother's intentions. Elk thanks Ivy for warning them. Emotional, she thinks, "I'm nothing, and yet they trust me." Vera asks, "You okay, Ivy?" She runs to her tent, opens the bag, and calls Sora. "I told them about you." She shows Sora to the group, explaining that the slime can sense bad people. Everyone is shocked. Riff approaches, finding Sora adorable. "She's so cute!" Ivy hugs her. "She's my friend." The group remarks that they've only ever heard of transparent slimes in legends. Sora doesn't like Riff's petting, so she slips away, and Riff ends up getting shoved by someone from the group, falling to the ground. Sora sighs in relief in Ivy's arms, watching everything unfold. Lars suggests, "Let's test if Sora can detect lies." Riff says, "I'm Lars." Sora trembles, signaling the lie. Lars laughs and says, "Mallory drank Shield's liquor in secret." Shield gets furious, and Sora confirms it's true. Mallory bolts off, with Shield chasing and yelling after him. Riff comments, "Sora's amazing." Ivy smiles. "Yeah, she's my best friend." Sora seems to smile too, wiggling in her arms. That night, during dinner, the group discusses how to track down the organization behind the kidnappings. Lars sighs. It hurts to think Mila might be involved. Ivy looks sad and says, "I think other traitors like Green Gale are connected to the organization too." She explains that Green Gale was promoted by a noble after a mission, while other groups who did similar work got nothing. Ivy concludes, that noble must be part of the organization, testing his allies, and Green Gale passed. The group is stunned. How did a 7-year-old notice that? Ivy corrects them shyly. "I'm not 7, I turned 9 today." Elk, the leader, exclaims, "Happy birthday, Ivy." Everyone claps, wishing her well. Shield shouts, "Happy birthday." Ivy blushes. "Thank you," she thinks. "It's been so long since anyone wished me a happy birthday." Elk says, "Ivy, we need your help identifying the traitors." The next morning, they arrive at the Adventurers Guild. A man introduces himself. "I'm Rook, the guild master." Ivy looks at Sora, who gives the green light. Beryl confirms, he's the master. Captain Burby introduces himself, and Sora senses no threat. Vice Captain Agru says his name, and Sora approves him too. Lars grabs a magic orb, pretending to check the group, and says, "All clear." Ivy explains, "It's an item that distinguishes good from evil." Rook says, "We need your help to find the organization's traitors." Beryl winks at Ivy. "That's what we came for. She nods. Let's do it. The next day, they stand before an old merchant house, the organization's former base. Agru says, "We'll check the guards." Beryl talks with them. Sora gives a green light to a red-haired guard, but when Malula speaks, Sora trembles, signaling danger. Ivy immediately warns Beryl. Inside the house, Burby laments, "I never imagined Malula was a traitor." Agru agrees, "I trusted him." Beryl praises, "Ivy, we're counting on you." After a long day of testing guards, Ivy sits down, exhausted. Lars says, "Good work." They discover that 38 of the 157 guards are traitors. 2 nobles arrive. "We came to take a look." Faloria introduces himself, and Sora trembles. Ivy alerts Beryl. Forand, the other noble, gets a green light. They say, "Let us know if you find anything." Burby, furious, punches the wall. "There were traitors among us, and it's my fault." Beryl comforts him. "You couldn't have known." Ivy suggests, "The traitor guards might have given false info during the last raid." Lars agrees. "You're right. Let's search the place." Agru asks, "You're not 6 years old, are you?" Ivy, annoyed, replies, "I'm 9. In Malula's office, Burby sends him off on another task. While searching the room, Ivy notices a heavily handled book. When she touches it, it glows, and the floor gives way beneath her, revealing a secret chamber. Inside, they find a fortune and records of the organization's dealings. Burby says, "Leave everything as it is so we don't alert the traitors." Then Shield praises, "With your help, Ivy, we're seeing our enemies clearly." Lars adds, "Now we'll catch them all." Ivy nods enthusiastically. Later, she fills a tub with water, using a magical item that summons it. Lars explains, "It's a magic item." Ivy smiles. "This'll make doing laundry so much easier." As she gathers the clothes, Lars asks, "Are you really a boy?" Ivy, almost in tears, says, "I'm sorry for deceiving you." He comforts her. "I get it. It's dangerous for a girl to travel alone. Your secret's safe with me." Mila appears. "Long time no see." She invites Ivy to explore the city. "Let's go to that famous sweets shop." Ivy hesitates, but Lars steps in. "I want to go too." Mila suggests a tavern, but Lars insists on a pastry shop. Mila gives in. "Fine, let's all go." Her twin brothers appear. "Yeah, all 5 of us." Ivy is speechless, and Lars looks worried. They stare each other down, tension rising as Mila steps forward. Lars follows, stopping face to face. Ivy thinks, what's going to happen now? Mila and Lars extend their hands, ready for a duel. "Rock, paper, scissors," they shout. Lars throws rock, Mila throws scissors. "I win," Lars cheers. "We're going to Felfo, not Mamaro." At the Felfo pastry shop, the waiter brings desserts for Ivy. Everyone stares as the twins, Malma and Tulta, devour everything in seconds and order more. Lars complains, "You're supposed to savor the sweets." He takes a bite and sighs, "Now this is happiness." Mila asks, "Do you like it, Ivy?" She smiles but looks at Sora, who trembles in fear as if saying, "These people are dangerous." Lars warns sternly, "If you touch Ivy, I won't show mercy." One twin laughs, "You kidding? You can't take on a 3-star." The other mutters, "I've only got 2-star defense." Mila interrupts, "Stop being rude." But Malma mocks, "All you do is tame slimes to clean up trash." Mila looks hurt. Ivy defends her. "No, Mila's amazing. Cleaning up trash is super important for the environment." Mila thanks her, but Malma retorts, "Skills that make money are better." Mila looks shaken, lost in thought, and Ivy wonders what's wrong. As they leave, Ivy whispers to Lars, "Sora said they can't be trusted." Lars asks, "But the sweets were good, right?" Ivy nods. "They were delicious." He explains, "I chose Felfo because I know the staff. It's safe." Ivy realizes, "So that's why you insisted on going there?" Lars nods. "I wanted to avoid the place they suggested." Looking at Sora, Ivy sighs. "It's sad they turned out to be bad." Lars sighs. "When I was little, kids could run around freely. Adults would praise us for doing good and scold us when we messed up." Ivy watches a small boy try to catch a butterfly, only for his mother to pull him back, worried. Lars continues, "Now, with all the kidnappings, the city's dangerous. Parents have to keep their kids close." That night, Lars tells the group, "We ran into Green Gale." Shield asks, "Did they come to kidnap Ivy?" Ivy shakes her head. "They invited me for sweets." Elk questions, Why risk doing that? Ivy has a realization. What if they're bait? If Greengale gets caught, it doesn't matter to the organization. Beryl reflects, but traitors become wanted criminals across the entire country. Ivy adds another idea. What if Mila and the others are disposable pawns? Lars asks, what do we do? Ivy reveals her plan, and Elk decides, this is our chance to catch the traitors. The next day, everyone gathers outside the guild. The master, Rook, announces, I called you here for a favor. This is Ivy. With kidnappings on the rise, I want you to protect her. She needs to get to know you, so please introduce yourselves. Mila waves to Ivy, who hesitantly waves back. The first adventurer approaches, and Sora immediately trembles. He greets Ivy, but Sora quivers harder, signaling danger. Ivy alerts Beryl, who murmurs, already? On the other side, Captain Burby looks thoughtful. Agru asks, what are you thinking about? Burby answers, nothing, but Ivy's special. Because of her, we'll find the traitors. Shield arrives, excited. Captain, form a special unit. We found a monster den in a cave. Burby orders Agru to pick the members. At the pastry shop, Ivy asks, what's a danzo? Lars explains, it's the best dessert here, but dangerous. Mila orders danzo for everyone, leaving Lars disappointed. Ivy notices Sora trembling and signals to Lars. The waiter's suspicious. While they talk, Lars says, I need your help with a secret mission. A large unit of guards will be fighting ogres, leaving the city exposed. The twins offer, we'll help with security. The shop owner, overhearing, mixes a sleeping potion into 2 dishes and smiles as he serves the desserts. Lars signals Ivy not to eat. The owner rushes off to alert the organization about the attack. Lars slides one of the poisoned desserts to Mila. Eat it. She hesitates. Stop it. Lars insists, we know you're traitors. Malma draws daggers. Tulta pulls a sword. Lars kicks the table and Malma attacks, but Lars dodges and slams him into the wall. Tulta charges, but Lars throws him back. Ivy, terrified, shouts, Lars, behind you! Tulta tries to strike, but Lars burns him with flames. Malma splashes water, neutralizing the fire. Both ready themselves to strike again. Lars draws his sword, but Mila commands her slimes to restrain Malma and Tulta. While they struggle with the slimes, Lars takes advantage and attacks, taking the twins down. Mila, defeated, murmurs, I'm sorry for betraying you. Ivy, surprised, thanks her. Thanks for stopping the twins. A friend of Lars shows up, confused. What's going on? Lars says, help me take them where they belong. At the guild, guards are on duty when members of the organization attack. They fight back, but a traitorous guard signals the invaders, leading them to a secret room. The noble traitor, Feloria, enters, praising, good work. He pushes a book, opening the hidden chamber, only to find a sleep bomb waiting. The bomb explodes, spreading gas through the palace. The invaders collapse unconscious. In the explosion room, the traitors try to flee but also faint. Meanwhile, Burby leads the special unit against ogres. Agru warns, the traitors behind us are going to attack. Burby hands him a device. Use this. Agru hesitates. Are you sure? Burby confirms, yes. 2 traitors ready their bows, but Agru dodges, and Burby activates a net, trapping them. He electrocutes them, neutralizing their magic. Agru leaps, capturing more traitors. Elk and his team face others. One tries to stab him, but Shield knocks him down with a club. Beryl lands a clean hit on another. Elk orders, arrest them all. Burby declares, you won't fool us anymore. Agru shocks the captured enemies. At the palace, Burby announces, we caught all the traitors. He thanks Ivy for identifying them. Beryl says, the city's safe now. Feloria, furious, is dragged to prison, and Forand, the honest noble, warns, no one's coming to save you. The crowd demands justice, shouting, execute the traitors. Burby calms them. If they die here, they escape their punishment. I promise they'll face something far worse. Ivy, amazed, says to Lars, the captain's incredible. Lars replies, you're even more incredible. At the guild, Burby and Agru show Ivy a list of the traitors. Wow, it's huge, she exclaims, looking at the document. Burby says, you're earning 150,000 glights for helping capture them. Sign here. Ivy, stunned by the amount, signs. The next morning, she checks her traps, but they're empty. Just my luck, she mutters. Seal appears, and Ivy hugs him, overjoyed. He disappears into the bushes, and soon rats and rabbits fall into the traps. Seal, you did that for me? She asks, smiling. At the butcher's, the owner praises, you always bring the freshest meat. Ivy promises, I'll bring more. He laughs, you're keeping my shop alive, kid, and pays her. On a lively evening, everyone gathers at a restaurant, seated around a long table. Rook, the guild master, raises a toast. Let's celebrate the fall of the organization. Everyone cheers. Plates pile up in front of Ivy, who laughs while sipping juice. Burby reveals, Valoria confessed everything about the organization's secrets. It's finished. Ivy asks, and Mila and her brothers? Rook answers, they're imprisoned for helping the organization. In the cell, Mila sighs, finally free from that dirty work. Rook says, now we're at peace. Ivy, excited, shows Sora. She's the one who helped us. Rook smiles. You two brought peace back to this city. Sora seems to smile too, and he asks, Ivy, do you want to live here? Burby adds, we'd love to have you with us. Moved, Ivy hears everyone asking her to stay. Can I really live here? She asks, surprised. Looking at Sora, she remembers Madame Luba's advice about trusting allies. Gathering her courage, she says, I need to tell you something. Holding Sora, she reveals, I'm completely starless. When I was 5, I touched the holy water at the church, and it showed I was a starless Tamer. The priest got furious and said God had abandoned me. I was expelled from my home, and my friends threw rocks at me. Wounded, I fled the village. A kind seer took me in, but the village chief said starless children bring misfortune and ordered them to hunt me down. I ran, scared and heartbroken, wondering how long I'd be chased. I ran until I ended up here. With tears in her eyes, Ivy hugs Sora as the group listens in silence. Lars says admiringly, you're incredibly strong, Ivy. Another adventurer adds, you're really brave, like we're here for you. Tears stream down her face and Rook, the guildmaster, promises, your secret is safe with us. Agru adds solemnly, we'll take it to the grave. Ivy wipes her face and, holding Sora, says, I want to keep traveling. Until now, I was only running to save my life. But then I met Captain Ogo, who helped me without asking anything, just like you all did. Unlike my village, my family, now I understand what Madame Luba meant. I want to meet more people like you in Stomach, and maybe, by traveling, I'll discover something new. Elk smiles. Your journey now is about finding something new, Ivy. She nods, emotional. Yes. Shield pets Sora, who jumps into Ivy's arms and says, I'll miss you, little one. Burby announces, we're throwing a party for Ivy today. Beryl raises his glass. In honor of her departure, we drink till we drop. The night is filled with laughter and joy. Ivy takes Sora to a quiet corner and whispers, this is what real happiness feels like, isn't it? Sora replies with a poo-poo, and Ivy laughs. The next morning, everyone gathers to say goodbye. Ivy declares, I'm ready. Lars asks, did you forget anything? She spins around, laughing. Nope, magic bags make everything easier. Everyone wishes her good luck. Burby reveals, I did some research on Sora. She's the weakest kind of slime, one that can only be tamed by someone without stars. Ivy opens the bag, thoughtful. I was born to find you, Sora. The group says, come back anytime. Ivy waves as she walks away. Suddenly, Seal appears, shocking everyone. Shield exclaims, she's starless, but she tamed the strongest monster. Seal nuzzles Ivy and Sora bounces happily. Together, they continue their journey radiant.